been sponsored by the American Medical Association, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the American Society for Reproductive Medicine, the Society for Laparoendoscopic Surgeons, the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, and the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology. And whereas there is a need for further research and increased funding for research of endometriosis, which would hopefully lead to earlier detection, the discovery of the cause of the disease, a reliable, less invasive, and less costly way to diagnose the disease, more effective ways to manage symptoms, and a cure. Now therefore, we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Endometriosis Awareness Month in Talbot County, and urge all citizens to help increase awareness of endometriosis and the importance of diagnosing this disease, which to date has no known cure. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this 10th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
And a second.
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Thank you. That stands approved. Ms. Hannawald?
So first and foremost, I want to say thank you.
Ms. Hannawald, if you would introduce yourself for the record.
Sorry. Okay. My name's Shannon Hannawald. I am the founder of Endo Warriors of the Eastern Shore. I want to say thank you because you guys have stood behind me and this mission that I've had for the past 7 years without question. You have always been extremely supportive and willing to do whatever possible to help me help the community know that they are not alone. So a little bit of my story, most of you have probably heard it before, so I apologize, but if I don't keep repeating it, then nothing's gonna happen, so I have to keep repeating it. I'm a wife and a mother. I'm also 1 in 10 women who have endometriosis. I am the founder of Endo Warriors of the Eastern Shore and an ambassador for the Endometriosis Association. Endometriosis is a disease that affects all aspects of your life, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Endometriosis can take everything from you, and it did to me until I decided it was time to fight back. Fight for awareness, education, and support so that generations after me do not have to go through what I and so many other women have. My pain started when I was 15 years old and started out as a doctor saying I had ovarian cyst rupturing. After that, my pain just increased and the help and the knowledge from the doctors decreased. My parents took me to so many doctors. I had more CT scans and ultrasounds that I can count, all coming back to the results of nothing. How was that possible? I was in excruciating, debilitating pain that nobody could seem to help me with. My parents started to believe the doctors that I was just trying to get out of school. And honestly, when I look back on it now, they didn't really have a choice. Endometriosis affected me mentally, caused severe depression and anxiety, and it also made me attempt to take my life when I was 17 years old because nobody would listen to me, and I was kind of at the breaking point of I don't know what else to do because nobody was listening to a word that I said. After 5 years, I finally found a doctor that would listen to me, and as soon as I told him my symptoms, he said, "I'm certain you have endometriosis." Endometriosis, what was that, and why had nobody else even mentioned this to me or my parents? The only way to diagnose endometriosis is through laparoscopic surgery, no blood work, no ultrasounds, no MRIs, no CT scans, just surgery. We scheduled my surgery, and sure enough, I had stage 4 endometriosis. That was the first of my 20 surgeries to try and help remove the lesions to help with the pain. One of the other main symptoms of endometriosis is infertility. The longer it takes to diagnose, the less chance you have of getting pregnant. By the grace of God, I was able to have my first son with no intervention, but for my second son, I had to go through fertility treatments. Endometriosis has taken so much from me. I've missed so many important dates and celebrations with family and friends. It took away my ability to have children like other women. It took a baby from me during fertility treatments, a baby that was loved and dreamt of, a baby that is missed and talked about daily. Endometriosis has no cure, only treatment. Some doctors will say to have a hysterectomy, but that will not stop it from growing on other organs. Some women do not experience the pain from endometriosis. They only find out about their condition when they are unable to conceive. Unfortunately, there are not many doctors, especially on the Eastern Shore, who have any knowledge about this disease, which I have a big problem with, because if it's listed as one of the top most 5 painful conditions that you can have. 1 in 10 women have it. Takes 8 to 10 years to receive a diagnosis, yet the doctors are getting 30 minutes of education on it in medical school. And I will never understand that, so I just keep pushing, trying to get them to inform the doctors a little bit more about it. Thankfully, over the past 20 years, there's been more awareness and education about endometriosis, but we are nowhere near where we need to be, not even close. I feel as my niece said it best, and it applies to all of us who fight endometriosis. She used the quote, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." This quote to her shows such importance in each of our stories and the constant battlefield we are on. I know some women do not want to speak publicly about a disease that is so personal, so I will speak for them. I will not stop until when someone says the word endometriosis, every single person will know what it is as much as they know what strep throat or an ear infection are. It is imperative that we all work together and support each other through this journey. My passion and drive are because I do not want anyone to go through what I have, but I have chosen to fight because you never know who is watching and learning from you. I ask you to remember, just because someone looks okay on the outside doesn't mean they are okay on the inside. If someone says they have endo, please remember this point in time and you will know how they feel. Endo affects each of us differently. It's such a complex disease and it requires numerous specialists for each patient. There are no 2 stories the same. I will always be 1 in 10, but I will always be the one who speaks up and fights for help for anyone who suffers from this disease and their support system to help them through this difficult path in life. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Handewald. And I think what you are doing in raising awareness must be making a difference, because I just read about the 10-year average diagnosis period in an article in the Baltimore Sun last week. So the word does seem to be getting out. Thank you for your good work on this.
Thank you very much.
Any questions from Ms. Handewald?
No questions. Just again, I echo what Councilman Lesser has said as well. Thank you for coming in and sharing this with us, and grateful to your continuing support and education on this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to thank you too for bringing this message every year to us. It's good.
It won't
The
stop.
public needs to know.
Yes, they do.
I'll use your words earlier. Thanks for being a broken record, right? Because I'm sure it's not easy to share your story year in and year out as you do, but I'm certainly glad you do it. And like you said, it's getting out, so keep it up.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
All right, and if you'll come forward, we have the proclamation for you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you next year.
Okay, next up, we have a request from State's Attorney for council support of state legislation. Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Joe Cole for the record, Talbot County State's Attorney. Thank you for fitting me into your agenda. I know you're extremely busy. I apologize for that. I was not aware of certain legislative deadlines that I'm running up against. My request is I put in my fiscal year 2027 and then relayed to the council through a letter as well. is an increase in salary. As you know from my request, the Talbot County State's Attorney's salary is the lowest in the state of Maryland out of 23 jurisdictions. It's us, Dorchester, and Somerset. Most of the counties on the Western Shore, except for some in Western Maryland, are above the salaries, equal to or above the salaries of the district court or circuit court attorneys. Some are set by their county councils or county commissioners. The neighboring counties, Queen Anne's County, set by statute, is 100% of the district court judge's salary, which is substantially more than, obviously, the Talbot County. It's approximately $40,000 more. It's a comparable office. As far as caseload, I think probably less serious felonies. It's an office with 5 lawyers, whereas Talbot County has 6 lawyers. I think also comparable when you compare I think the reason that a lot of the counties are comparable to the district court judges or circuit court judges, not to say that the judges are not extremely busy as well. We handle not all the district court cases, criminal cases, and all of the circuit court criminal cases. Unlike a district court judge, I have 13 employees, so not only do I have a full caseload of circuit court cases, I also have the administrative duties of running the office. I think it's important to point out that it's important for the hiring and retention. Not that I plan on leaving, but if circumstances were to develop where I did leave over the next 4.5 years or so, the district court judge would be in the position of having to appoint someone and having to recruit talented people to fill the position. He would have to say, well, I can offer you the lowest salary in the state of Maryland. And I don't think that that's a position that the county wants to be in. I would point out that the Caroline County is 85% of the district court judge's salary, and that the state's attorneys, not that I'm not saying that the salaries are the reason, but both of the state's attorneys in Dorchester and Caroline County are leaving after 1 term in office. So I would make that request. Again, I apologize for, it was somewhat last minute. This is really looking forward to the second term. And I say second term because right now I'm running unopposed. I don't want to take anything for granted, but they would apply for 2027, not this fiscal year. I would be asking for it in 2028, but I have to ask now because the legislative session, it has to be instituted before my next term. The legislature, the Constitution does not allow the legislature to increase salary during the term of office for elected officials. So that's why the timing is a little strange that I'm asking for a raise next year. The other alternative is requesting that the legislature be allowed to just allow the county council to set the salary for the state's attorney. As I mentioned, some counties do it that way. I think Garrett and Montgomery County do it that way, and that would mean that if they put the legislation in with that language, that basically I would come back next budget, the next fiscal year, to make the request and to talk about what an appropriate salary would be.
Questions for Mr. Cole? You cited a few comparables that all of course relatively small counties. Are the counties that are set this as a percentage of the circuit court judge's salary. Is that true in the large counties, even like Wacomico or Cecil and so forth?
Yes, so the Worcester County is 90% of the district court judge's salary. Wycomico is 90% of district court judge's salary. On the
Those larger counties have larger staffs and larger caseloads?
Certainly, Wycomico and Worcester is obviously larger during the summer, and they shrink down during the winter. The counties on the western shore, for instance, St. Mary's County is 100% of the circuit court judge's salary. Allegheny is 90% of the district court. Cecil County is 95% of the district court judge's salary. Garrett County, as I said, the county commissioner set the salary for the state's attorney. But again, Somerset, Dorchester, and Talbot are the lowest. Caroline's 85%.
And the draft letter for the state legislature doesn't make a specific request. You would be leaving it up to the legislature as to what percentage to set this by, or to turn it over to the
Oh, no,
county
I was
council?
making the request to the council. I just assumed that it would be, well, I assume that the delegation would value your input to a great degree. I don't think that they would want, they really want to overstep what, do something that the county wasn't willing to, the council wasn't willing to support.
And so are you making a specific request of?
I'm making the request of 100% of the
100%?
district court. Yes, I think that it's comparable to Queen Anne's County. As I said, I think that it's a larger office. And a comparable caseload, although I believe that we have more on the felony dockets, the major felony cases.
To be a 25% increase.
Yes.
I think, what he's pointing out is that if we ask for it, they will come, the state delegation.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think, having had experience with the state's attorney's office, not when you were in charge, but in years past, I know what the scope of what that office needs to do and what it needs to handle. So I'd be in favor of this.
So Joe, just to make sure I got it clear. So you're asking for 100% of the district judge's salary,
That's correct.
which we would then in turn submit to our state legislators, which would put forth legislation to have the state delegate or state legislature vote on, yes or no?
Correct.
Okay. There would be no need to go to referendum, correct?
Correct. That's my understanding. Now, again, I apologize for this. I need an answer very quickly because I did not, I wasn't aware of the filing deadlines for the legislature. They're asking me to do it quickly to get it in this legislative session.
Would you be amenable to a request to frame it up as asking the council to set that as part of our regular budget process then?
I would, yes. And I mean, I saw that as a second. Most of them are percentages, but some different counties do things differently. Under it's under the criminal procedure article that governs, and I do see that as, I believe they do that because if the Constitution prohibits the legislature from raising the salary during the term of an elected official, and so I don't believe it prohibits the county council or county commissioners or county executive, if it's delegated by statute to raise the salary.
Sure.
So.
Just since we're accountable to the lower, we're accountable to the voters of Talbot County, and making decisions about the use of the taxpayers' funds of Talbot County, I'd be kind of more comfortable going in that direction.
You say in addition to, or just in lieu of?
Have the council set it rather than the state legislature.
I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, I think that would be better. I mean, because that would hold more accountability to the county like we do when we go through the budgeting process. Just for me, right now, I just feel like I would need more information because it is last minute. You've been in the seat for 4 years, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I would think that you would know when the deadline is if you wanted a raise, instead of coming to the council last minute. But I do agree with Mr. Lesher's proposal for the council to set the increase.
Any further discussion?
Don't think so.
Is there a,
Chuck have a comment?
yeah, Mr. Callahan?
Yes, yes.
Any input on direction for this about moving ahead, and if so, in what direction?
Well, I see everybody's point, but I think our taxpayers should be doing the selection of that salary.
I didn't understand.
I agree with you.
For having the council do that as part of its budget process?
Correct.
All right. Is there a motion and second to forward a letter to the local delegation seeking support for this legislation then?
I'll move.
So can we clarify that we're moving to support a support letter for legislation to be generated by our state delegation in favor of the county council setting the state's attorney's salary?
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and second.
When does it go into effect then?
For fiscal year 28,
Yeah,
Kurt?
After he's out.
Correct,
An ask
States?
of 100% of a district court judge, that's the ask. Your motion wouldn't address that. Your motion would only address that you would set a salary. He's looking for,
Right.
Which we would have the opportunity to do for FY 28. Right, so that Mr. State's Attorney, that is what you're asking for the FY 28 and beyond, correct?
Yes, yes, I wasn't foreseeing any increase in salary until 2027 at the earliest, if you granted it.
At the start of that state fiscal year,
Yes,
in middle
Yes.
of 2027.
Which still gives us,
That'd be
plan
quicker.
for FY 28, which would put that would be July 1 of 2027.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which still gives us time to get through next year's budget cycle with that request, so.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second?
We do have a motion and
Okay.
second. Is there any further discussion?
What's the deadline for getting it to the delegation?
Presumably as soon as possible,
as soon as
because
possible.
we're at the halfway point of
Oh, I
the
didn't know if
legislative
there was a
session.
specific date.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have your motion, Mr. Steps, second on that to forward that letter requesting legislation for the county council to be delegated the power to set the state's attorney's salary. Would the secretary call the roll, please?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Heath?
Nay.
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have an administrative resolution. Madam Secretary, would you please read the title of the administrative resolution into the record?
Administrative resolution establishing the Office of Community Partnerships for Talbot County, Maryland.
Thank you. Mr. Stamp?
good evening, council. So I would like to invite Nancy Andrew, Linda Webb, and Andy Hollis to come to the table, if you don't mind.
Please.
So council, what you have before you this evening is is a potential solution to some challenges being faced in our community. So let me just start out by, first of all, recognizing these three individuals who work hard every day with a number of nonprofits serving our community and making a difference. And I've asked them to come here today because we're trying to solve a problem, or at least make some slight impact in what is perceived to be a growing challenge for our nonprofits to serve folks when it comes to homelessness, hunger, and some other needs in our community. Specifically, I think I would like for them to speak to this before we talk about a potential solution, is that they are seeing an increase in demand and need. They're seeing a decrease in resources from grants from the federal government, the state government, and so that's forcing more and more pain on the local community to step up and try to meet a growing demand. And for those three reasons, or those two reasons, along with the fact that each year council gets individual requests from nonprofits for funding so that they can provide these services. And you'll recall in previous years, as we put together the budget, you asked staff to work to try to come up with a solution to where we could direct funding in the future through a process to ensure it got to the right place for the right people. So for that reason, we came up with a framework that we would like to discuss with you this evening. But I would like to turn it over to the three of these folks to just talk a little bit about their needs. Andy Hollis was most effective in sitting in the chair that I'm sitting right now. But anyway, he is the Executive Director of the Neighborhood Service Center. That is the community action agency for Talbot County, and he's already starting up and doing a wonderful job there. Nancy Andrew is the Executive Director of Talbot Family Network, which is the local management board for Talbot County, and Linda Webb is a most experienced Director of Social Services for Talbot County, and all three are excellent in their jobs. I would like to just ask you to share a moment about what you're seeing in the landscape of delivering human service needs.
Good evening, Council. I've had the benefit or the misery, depending on how you look upon it, of sitting in your seat during budget time. And I know the number of nonprofits that come in front of the council seeking funding. And I'm well aware with my new position at Neighborhood Service Center that number of asks of you all is increasing, especially with either flat funding or reduced funding at both the state and the federal level. So I think it is absolutely critical in today's atmosphere for us to have a coordinating agency or office that all of the nonprofits can work through collectively to make sure that we're not competing against each other, that we're not duplicating services, and that we, on behalf of you and the citizens, are providing the best services we can to the people of Talbot County. I think this office, looking at the resolution, gives that ability to one entity. We're supposed to not mention Nancy's name, but whoever leads this office would have the unique capability, I think, of making sure that happens. And I think it makes your job easier, and I think it's helping in terms of prioritizing the needs of the community. And I think, and Nancy is already doing this in her current role, there's a collaboration among nonprofits on a regular basis, to her credit, in terms of conversations and meetings that has not taken place before. So I think this is just the beginning of what I think is a very positive process and outcome for the nonprofits in the county.
Thank you. Linda?
Good evening. I agree with everything that Mr. Hollis said. From my perspective at the Department of Social Services, we are seeing increased need, and we will continue to see increased need. Primarily due to the passage of some recent federal legislation that places additional work requirements on individuals receiving SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly food stamps, and then sometime next year for individuals receiving Medicaid. What often happens when those requirements increase is that people lose benefits because for one reason or another they simply can't meet the requirements. We saw some of that during the recent federal shutdown when Nancy helped me convene a number of nonprofits, and we educated the community about the fact that the Department of Social Services issues in excess of $600,000 in SNAP benefits every month. So as we see people lose those benefits, we're going to see an increased demand made upon the nonprofits in the community, resulting in probably additional budget requests of you all. So as Mr. Hollis said, Nancy is currently convening a number of groups. There are many generous individuals in this community, many of whom support and work for the nonprofit community. But really what is needed, and what Nancy has been doing in this office will continue, is coordinating those efforts so that we're all working together in the most efficient and effective manner to serve the residents of Talbot County. So I think this is something that that should be supported, should be approved. I certainly support it, and while I'm not a nonprofit, I will certainly do whatever I can to support the office if approved.
Thank you, Linda. And Nancy. Nancy's currently the executive director of our local management board, which is the Talbot Family Network, and they carry out a lot of good work in our community, but it is solely directed by the office of the governor, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the needs on the ground here in our community. And you'll find when we go through the proposed framework, it would be shifting her from this role to be able to be in a position to answer to council and carry out council their priorities, as well as to keep the LMB going as well. Nancy, from your lens, could you just share a little bit?
Sure. So, thank you to both of you for your general comments about the sort of the landscape, thinking about the needs in the community. As Linda alluded to, we have changes coming with the One Big Beautiful Bill, and changes with SNAP benefits and Medicaid benefits. And there's a confluence of things here, because since the pandemic, we've seen increasing challenges with affordability, both for our households in the county, but also for like our food pantries. It's becoming more expensive for them to purchase food. Maryland Food Bank, who is really an important partner in our feeding network in this county, it is more challenging for them to have food available, which is taxing to our food pantries, many of whom are all volunteer efforts. I think we also have an increasing awareness in this county that we're relying on a hotel to provide much of our sheltering for our neighbors who are unhoused. TIS does a wonderful job in this community, but they are a high barrier shelter. They're really about helping our neighbors seek independence who have been unsheltered. So there are criteria to enter their facility. But for someone who, and you think of the cold weather that we had in January and February, who needs a place to get in from out of the cold, we're sending them to a hotel. And if suddenly that hotel weren't here, we'd really have an extraordinary challenge in this county. So because we're working together more, we're also able to get more data around these issues, which is very informative to making sure that we can work together. I think ultimately, while we see needs increasing, and we all want to see people stand on their own and realize their best potential, we know that we have to be able to do this together. We don't have every service we need in this county. We have a lot. And compared to some of our neighboring jurisdictions, we are well positioned in some ways. But we want to make sure that the services we do have are accessed by our neighbors, that there's no wrong door for people to get to the services that we need, that they need, and that we're supporting our workforce so that we continue to have the wonderful people who show up and do the frontline work every day in our human services system.
So council, and I know you all are aware of the challenges that we face, and they're echoing what you know to a large degree. So in trying to tackle this problem, what we really wanted to try not to do is try to create a government bureaucracy. Nobody wants that, and frankly, it's not effective. We already have high-spirited individuals out there and nonprofits serving our community with passion, and their paycheck is pride. And so when government steps in, they begin to rob that pride, and you start to see a diminishment in service. So when we tried to come up with a bit of a framework and work together on it, we tried to create something that would not be invasive, if you will. And it's basically having a centerpiece that you see in the graphic. And again, we're talking about shifting one person from one role into another and bringing a project manager on to help with a lot of the work to roll out some of these grants and what have you. That is it. This is not 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people. This is moving one person and adding a project manager. It's a minimal investment to what I believe would be a decent solution. Program Area 1 is the local management board. This individual, this office would continue to lead and oversee the local management board, which is the Talbot Family Network. They would carry out the state-directed mandates that are funded by the state. In Program Area 2, the council have already moved to recognize this organization to oversee the Cannabis Fund administration. These are grant dollars to help make a difference in our community, and this coordinating office would, in essence, help facilitate that as well. And that's really prescribed by the council ultimately. Those grant funds come to the county through the local management board. This individual would still oversee the local management board and that as well. Program Area 3 is interesting because this is where all the nonprofits can come together and collaborate and to make sure that everyone's playing to their strong suit, right? And that they're not duplicating things. Nancy has already started this process through what she calls pulse meetings that are quite successful. Big turnouts, nonprofits are showing up, they're sharing their information openly, and we're seeing some good things happen. But in this program area, what it allows for, it answers the question that the council asked me several years in a row, is what do we do for individual nonprofits that are coming to us to receive annual funding from the county budget? Can we come up with a process? This program area could grow that area, could grow a process by which the county would feel comfortable at some point in time to put money in an area that they would feel confident could be distributed and meet a need. That would be something down the road. And then finally, Program Area 4 is supporting our Community Action Agency, which is the Neighborhood Service Center presently, who are in the process of retooling and growing and growing to meet a lot of needs in the community. So by implementing this framework, what the county does is it doesn't try to take over the good job that's being done. It doesn't own it. It doesn't buy it. It simply facilitates and convenes and puts air under the wings of people that are doing the job. So it's a less intrusive manner of trying to address a growing need in our community. So hopefully you have subject matter experts here that have come to the table and talked to you. We've worked hard to come up with a solution. Hopefully it's to the liking of the county council. And if it is, I would recommend that council consider approving this recommendation or this administrative resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Stamp. Are there questions from council for either Mr. Stamp or any of our expert panel here?
No.
I don't think so.
Mr. Hollis, one of the things that you said added a dimension. I understand about the value of coordination, but you added something to this, which is the value to the council of sorting out the budgetary end of this. And so if I understand what you told me, that coordination would take place before it comes to council's desk, as we're doing it now. We're getting all these separate requests. That could be coordinated before it comes to council with budget requests, so that we are aware that we don't have to be asking questions about, are we duplicating services here? Am I reading that correctly?
So the way I read the draft administrative resolution, yes, I think council has the ability to determine just how much of that recommendation is tight before it comes to you, but it'll certainly be in a more manageable manner for you all to make your decisions about. And I think it also gives the office the ability to prioritize what the council's objectives are going forward each and every year.
Anything further? Any further discussion on this?
No.
Are we ready for a motion and a second on the administrative resolution as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have motion and second. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Heath?
Abstain?
Mr. Callahan? Mr. Callahan?
He's still on.
Aye.
Kept us hanging.
I was on remote, sorry.
He's a long way away. Sometimes there's a little delay in the electronics.
You all know me by now.
Thank you all.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Thank you, council, and thank you all for coming in and what you do
Thank you.
every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to introduction of numbered resolutions. Madam Secretary, would you read the title of the first numbered resolution into the record?
A resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap 6 parcels of real property located at 25516 Bushy Heath Road, 25520 Bushy Heath Road, 25524 Bushy Heath Road, 25533 Bushy Heath Road, 25575 Bushy Heath Road, and 25608 Bushy Heath Road, Solitude Road, as shown on tax map 40 as parcels 98, 86, 2, 82, 4, and 110 respectively, from unprogrammed to S1 immediate priority status pursuant to applications filed by Daniel D. Haley and Dawn A. Haley, Jacqueline H. Smith, and Federal Q-Tip Residuary Trust of Jerry B. Hook, Catherine A. Hikas, Kenneth R. Adami, and Beth Adami, and the Harry G. Broadman Family Trust.
Thank you. Mr. Stamp, I see you have your county engineer here for any questions on this.
Yes. And tonight I'll make sure I should call on Ray Clark. Since the last council meeting, he was sitting right in front of me and I called Josh up and
That's okay.
forgot to invite Ray up.
Ray Clark, County Engineer.
Josh Elliott, Assistant County Engineer.
Thank you. We did receive an application from the 6 property owners, Bushy Heath Road. They are seeking sewer service from the force main that's going from the Royal Oak Pump Station into St. Michael's. Looking at this, it would be, from our standpoint, a feasible extension to take care of. At the same time, I think, we'd be taking 6 houses off of septic systems. We'll note that we have sent this over to the Office of Environmental Health, and we've not heard anything from the Office of Environmental Health at this time, but we'll do what we can to get that information to the County Council by the public hearing. So if you have any questions.
You just, my question was about environmental health, and you've anticipated that, preempted it. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from council?
No.
So, hearing none, by show of hands, who wishes to introduce the bill? And Mr. Callahan, if you want to weigh in by voice.
Mr. Callahan?
Yep, I'm good.
Introduced by,
It is hard to hear, though. Can't quite hear.
introduced by Mr. Callahan, Stepp, Ms. Heath, and Ms. Milky.
Yep.
Okay. Madam Secretary, would you read the title of the next?
You want the number?
Oh, I'm sorry. If you will give us the number and the hearing date, please.
This will be known as resolution number 392, and the public hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 14th at 5:30 p.m.
You say 392?
392 is the resolution.
Thank you. And then if you can read the title of the next numbered resolution.
A resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap a 26-acre portion of certain real property located at 25662 and 25664 St. Michael's Road, St. Michael's, Maryland, and shown on tax map 32 as a portion of parcel 31, consisting of 112.0718 plus or minus acres in total from unprogrammed to S1 immediate priority status pursuant to an application filed by James Edward Hikus, trustee of the Residuary Trust under the will of James Irving Hikus.
Again, council, we did receive the application. The Hikus is actually part of the previous resolution as well. They have 2 houses on the parcel in question that would be seeking to be amended to the comp water sewer plan. Again, you know, from our standpoint, it's feasible to extend them sewer, and we have forwarded this information over to the Office of Environmental Health. We've not heard anything back, and again, we will do our best to get that information to you by the public hearing.
And Mr. Clark, is this property, this is over 100 acres, so this is subdividable potentially?
I think what's happened here is that the parcel is divided by Maryland Route 33, if I'm not mistaken, and so we're only bringing that portion that's I guess it was the 20 some odd acres that's in the sewer service area. It is a larger parcel, 112 acres, so we're only bringing that portion that was on the east side of Maryland Route 33.
So this would be for less than the full 112 acres?
It is less, it is, yes. It's really just specifically for those areas where we had the 2 houses. We weren't bringing a whole parcel in.
Okay, and there'll be a revised map to reflect that?
I think, yes, we will definitely. I thought we had that in there, but we'll make sure this is provided as well.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Clark on this one?
No.
Hearing none, by show of hands, who wishes to introduce the bill? And Mr. Callahan, do you wish to introduce the bill as well?
Yes. Yes.
Introduced by Mrs. Callahan and Stepp, Ms. Milky, Ms. Heath.
This will be known as resolution number 393, and the public hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 14th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. We move on to public hearing. And Madam Secretary, would you please read the title of Bill number 1624 into the record?
Bill number 1624, a bill to amend Chapter 190, zoning, subdivision, and land development of the Talbot County Code for the purposes of providing that cannabis growing and the processing of cannabis grown on site shall be permitted by special exception in the agricultural conservation, countrywide preservation, and western rural conservation zoning districts, providing that the processing of cannabis grown off-site shall be permitted by special exception in the village mixed, general commercial, and limited industrial zoning districts, and providing that cannabis dispensaries shall be permitted by special exception in the limited commercial, general commercial, and limited industrial zoning districts, each subject to certain conditions and defining terms associated therewith.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Thomas, and we have Mr. Yelton from Planning and Zoning here.
Yes.
Would you like to walk us through what we're looking at?
Yes, so as the title states, the purpose of the bill is to regulate cannabis growing, processing, and dispensaries in the county. For growing and processing, it imposes strict setbacks from pre-existing residential and institutional uses, including schools of 1,000 feet, which is significantly greater than what was in the previous legislation. It also increases the lot size requirement to 75 acres, which is also a significant increase from the previous bill. The dispensary requirements are as strict as they can be under the current state law, and all of the uses are only permitted by special exception, which means that if this bill were approved as it's presented, that the Board of Appeals would have to approve any growing, processing, or dispensaries.
Thank you. Mr. Yelton?
I have nothing to add unless the council has any questions.
Questions from council?
Yeah, I just had one question. Just want to clarify that if we were to enact this bill, it would be more restrictive than if we did nothing.
That is correct, because right now the county has no regulations to address these uses.
And so we'd be controlled by state law,
Yes.
which is a lot more liberal than this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion on council for this one?
I'll just go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chuck, go ahead.
Do what?
Mr. Callahan, do you have any discussion of the cannabis legislation?
Are we voting on this, or are we just?
Public hearing.
This is the public hearing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
We can
Yeah,
wait to your.
I don't have much to say. I'm not a big fan of it. I can tell you that much.
Very well. So now, I will open up the public hearing, and if you wish to speak on Bill number 1624, you'll have 3 minutes as an individual. If you're speaking on behalf of an organization and the one speaking on behalf of that organization, I'll give you 5 minutes. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on Bill 1624? If so, please come forward to the table and identify your name and address. We heard from quite a few last time. Maybe we have all the public input from last time, I suppose. Nobody on this. I will then close the public hearing on Bill 1624. Is there any further council discussion at this time? This will be moved to the agenda for a vote at our next meeting then.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Bill 1624 is eligible for a vote on March 24th, 2026. Thank you. Next up is a request from our Planning and Zoning for approval of the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation, or MALF, proposed easement sale prioritization formula. Mr. Yelton, welcome back.
Thank you, appreciate it. Bryce Yelton, Talbot County Planning and Zoning, the Assistant Director. We're here tonight to discuss the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation ranking sheet. So I just want to preface with the council and for the public's benefit what the MALF program is. The MALF program is one of the county's largest land preservation initiatives. Council puts forward money in the budget every year to support the state's efforts in that. The state takes applications through our office for the MALF program, and farms are ranked based on this prioritization schedule for those easements. They are competitive. The best farms usually get offers in the spring and in the summer, and those are rolled over for the next fiscal year for offers to go out. We're talking about a lot of money here. There is a substantial benefit to be in land preservation under the MALF program, and so this ranking sheet is incredibly important. Our ranking sheet's been changed twice in our history. It was originally concocted in 2000 and was last updated in 2011 by the council. So this is really what we're coming to you today for, is a recommendation to the MALF board at the state. They're the ones that have to approve the final rankings after they come before the Planning Commission and the County Council every year, and so therefore this ranking sheet has to go before them as well. We're hoping that if it gets approved by the council tonight and the MALF board at the end of the month at their online meeting, that we'll be able to use this ranking formula for this fiscal year's applications that we're currently taking until the middle of April. Just want to go over the ranking sheet really quick. It was included in the packet. The ranking sheet, because this deals with a lot of private property rights and a lot of money, isn't very public, and so I just wanted to run through, for the benefit of the public, the changes that we're making. A lot of the changes that you'll see on page 1 pertain to what they used to call MALF districts. So before they did the offer sheets, what they did was they would put you in a MALF district, which wasn't an easement, it was a precursor, and then they would switch that to an actual easement when they put you in the program. Those do not exist anymore, and so our ranking sheet has been updated since those were changed. And so really a lot of that is topical and grammatical in nature that we're changing that. One of the largest changes is under B for farm quality. The median farm size is what we use for our rankings. The last time we changed that was from the 2007 ag census. Our average farm size has gone down significantly from 100 acres to 67 acres since then. The only rankings that should change based on actual point outcomes for the MALF program are under the back side of the page, under the priority preservation area status. We had taken the liberty of going over this with the Ag Pres Board, just spreading out the actual acres nearby that are already preserved that we give points for. And so essentially the way that the ranking sheet used to be was if you had 0 acres up to 250 acres nearby or 499 acres nearby, you would still get 10 points automatically. And the difference between the lowest amount of points you could get and the highest amount of points was 10, 20, 30, and 40. We've taken the liberty of going over this with the Ag Pres Board, and they agreed that widening that gap will provide a lot better quality in our applications, and hope that we can actually spread out some of our applications that are very close in number. The other largest thing was at the bottom. In the event of a tie score, I don't know that we've had a tie score in a very long time. However, our current tie score takes into account how long you were in an ag district, which does not exist anymore. And so Dorchester County uses the largest number of acres that you've applied for if in the event there's a tie score and you have to pick one over another. And so we've proposed to change that here to just allow for an actual tiebreaker that would make sense for us. Again, just looking for a recommendation of approval here for the MALF board tonight, and if anybody has any questions.
Could you go back to item B? We're now judging, we're awarding points now based on whether you're above or below the median farm size as opposed to set acreages. Is that the change?
So there is no change to the actual way that we rank the points. It was the actual average that we were using. So we're still ranking the points the same. However, the average farm size has changed drastically since what we were using. So we were ranking everybody based on the average in 2007. Now we're proposing to change it to the most recent ag survey census, which is 2022.
I see. So it's always been based on median farm size.
Exactly. We're just changing the actual number because what we were using was older data.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Other questions for Mr. Yelton?
No.
Are we ready for motion? Is there a motion second to approve the MALF easement sale prioritization formula?
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second. Ms. Secretary, would you call the roll?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Heath?
Aye.
Chuck.
Oh,
He's gone?
Okay, motion carries without opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Next item is our county manager's report. Mr. Stamp.
good evening, Council. I have only 3 items for you this evening, no boards and committee appointments. Is Mr. James Adair available? Can you come forward, please? Mr. Adair is here representing Chop Tank, Habitat for Humanity, Chop Tank. They're requesting a letter of support from the council for their application to the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for an operating assistance grant to assist in with weatherization, roof repairs, accessibility improvements, and other critical health and safety repairs for homes. No county funds are required, and I probably stole his thunder, but I will turn it to you to share your request with the council.
Well, pleasure to meet you all. It's my first time here. Habitat just brought me on not too long ago, and so I've never been to one of these meetings before.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I do enjoy it. So I'm not sure if there's anything that you would like to ask me questions about. Typically, Joanne Hanson, who's the CEO of the organization, is usually here, but she's got another appointment, and I stepped in to assist in any way that I could. So is there something that you require from me?
Well, I just finished up, the request. Again, they're asking for this letter of support for the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development's Operating Assistance Grant. And again, this would require no monetary input from the county. And obviously, council knows that they do great work in the community. So
We do indeed see that all the time. I've been to many of Habitat's events and seen the good work around the county, and seen, of course, what you do beyond Talbot County as well. Thank you for all that. Are we ready for motion on authorizing this, this letter of support?
So moved.
Yep, second.
We have motion and second. If there's no discussion, we'll have the secretary call the roll.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
See how good a
Motion
job,
carries without opposition.
see
Do I
how,
receive
see how
something,
good a
or
job
do
you
I
did?
Mail something? I'm sorry?
See how good a job you did?
Thank you very much, yes.
And-
I do greatly appreciate it. It does mention in here, it's the Critical Home Repairs Program, so they brought me on, I'm the new manager for that division. So you do see a lot of new homes, but we've done a lot of stuff in this county as well, but I do handle all of the critical repairs that people need that are already homeowners that reach out for that assistance. So it is greatly appreciated, and it's certainly changed my life from coming over here from where I had been before. So it's very nice, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, council, the next item that I have is a request from our roads department, recommendation to award bid number 2602, furnishing of ASTO M43 size, anyway, washed aggregate with 25-mile radius of 605 Port Street. And as you read in your packet, the roads department is requesting council approval to award this bid to a sole bidder, Vulcan Construction Materials Company, and a unit price of $45.50 per ton, with a total bid of $136,500. Funding of $174,000 is available in the budget. This is an annual request that we come bring to council to help with our road resurfacing projects.
Motion to approve bid number 2602.
Second.
Motion and second. If there's no discussion, Ms. Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And this is the next one is a similar bid. This is bid 2603, furnishing the same material with polymer. Again, the roads department is requesting council approval to award bid 2603 to low bidder Slurry Pavers Incorporated at a cost of $2.63 a gallon for the furnishing and delivery of emulsified asphalt with polymer at a cost of $3.15 a gallon for the furnishing, delivery, and application of emulsified asphalt with polymer. And again, this is an annual request from our roads department in our efforts to resurface roadways.
Motion to approve bid number 2603.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Council, that completes your county manager report this evening. As always, thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Stamp. Council, next we have public comment. We have nobody who signed up in advance. Is there anybody present who wishes to speak? Please come forward to the table and give your name and address.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you folks once again. For the record, I'm Phil Riggin, and my address is 29736 Sullivan Drive in Easton. I'm here, I wasn't planning on saying anything until I looked at two of these two resolutions regarding continued public hookups for water and sewer. And these two resolutions are apparently to connect 8 parcels or 6 parcels in one resolution, 2 in another, with covering a substantial amount of property, again, over in the western side of the county. We've all talked about how this public, connecting these properties is beneficial for environmental reasons and for environmental purposes. But, there is a cost to this. And I'm assuming it's the cost is being borne by the county taxpayers.
It shouldn't be.
And maybe assisted by some grant funding from the state or the feds. But clearly I do think that if, you know, if we have to be more aggressive in getting additional funding from the state or federal government, you know, we're in a position to make a good case for that. And I guess so there are questions as to how long this would go on. I mean, is this an unending thing? Will we be doing this for years and years and years? Or is there some defined end to this? And I think finally, from a purely financial standpoint, the other question would be, how long will it take the county to recoup the cost of these? Because I assume there's a charge being made for these homeowners or property owners, and there will be an annual fee, and how much that would. These are all internal questions to be asked, I think, among yourselves as much as anything else. But as someone who has watched this now for 2 years almost, it's been a constant process, and I've expressed my support for it, but you know, there is a cost, and you know, as long as that's under control, that's my only concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reagan.
Thank you.
And you give us food for thought as we move on into the next phases of this. Appreciate it.
Food for thought.
Any other public comment tonight? Hearing none, we'll close public comment and move on to council comments. Anybody like to start tonight?
I have no comment tonight.
Have any comment?
Same.
Oh. I was just going to say that last Saturday we went to the last of the fire and company banquets, and they're just such a wonderful event. Not only do we give them a little gift, but it's just wonderful to see these volunteers and how dedicated they are, and the community that they create as being in the fire company, and you know, it's spouses and children and everything. And we're just so fortunate to have such dedicated volunteers that do so much for this county, and I don't think get enough praise or thanks. So I'm giving it to them.
Thank you, Ms. Mielke. I was going to comment on exactly the same thing. I joined Ms. Mielke for that, as did Mr. Stepp, and really a wonderful, wonderful show of community down in that corner of the county. If there's nothing further, Mr. Stepp, will you take us out tonight?
Sure thing. The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 24th, beginning at 5 p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 2 p.m. for a FY27 budget work session, and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. On Thursday, March 12th and Thursday, March 19th, the County Council will be holding meetings at 4:30 p.m. via Zoom with Providence Strategies for a briefing on the Maryland General Assembly. The meetings are open to the public. The council will also be holding FY27 budget work session on Thursday, March 12th at 5 p.m., Tuesday, March 17th at 2 p.m., and Thursday, March 19th at 5 p.m. Those meetings are also open to the public. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Ms. Mielke?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you all, and good night.
Hey, Jeff, could you shut this computer down?